Hey everybody. Okay, in this video, I'm going to read my post that I always call my Loaf of Bread story. But really what it's about is learning how to manifest anything with ease. So it's just a little story about something that happened to me that really, it's just the smallest thing possible, but it had a big impact on me that I actually came home straight away and wrote about it on my site. So anyway. So my friends, as I say, call this my loaf of bread story, and I do too. But really, it's just a story about how to manifest anything you want. Now, one particular friend was on at me for ages to include this on my site, because to be honest, it really underpins to a great degree, what my site is all about: creating life on your terms. So anyway, rather than explain myself, let's just get on with the story. So it all started with a simple loaf of bread. And it was a very nice loaf of bread, I have to say, 100% rye from a stall at an organic market I frequent from time to time. And I don't go there very often because it's only held once a week and it's about a 40-minute drive away from where I live. But on this particular day, I decided I wanted a loaf of this yummy bread. And it seemed like a lovely idea to go to the markets on that lovely Sunday. It was a beautiful sunny Sunday morning. There was a small problem though. I didn't have enough money, and most of these farmers markets only take cash. So I also didn't have much time to get there because by the time I decided to go, the markets were close to closing given the drive that I had. But in any case, even though I didn't really know how it was all going to work out, I still got in the car. I just felt called to just get in the car and go anyway, with my border collie Finn, and we drove over there. Now, on the way, what I did was I tried to get money from a petrol service station. I was looking, at all sorts of different ways I could just get a bit of cash from the bank, without having to go too far out of my way because of the fact that they were going to close soon. So on the way, I tried to get money for a petrol service station, but their machine wasn't working. So then I was sort of drove a bit further and I saw a shopping centre across the road, but it was busy and it was not easily accessible. So, I had to do a U-turn and cross traffic and all sorts of stuff. And so I didn't stop at that. And I looked for ATMs as I drove. Every time I saw a little block of shops, I would slow down, but no luck with that either. So when I got to the market, I still didn't have what I needed. I ended up arriving at the market with the same amount of money that I left home with. So anyway, even so, I made my way to the store and saw that it was still open. And I had a look as people were paying, but it didn't seem as though they had a card machine because everybody was just paying cash. I did notice one thing, however, that the loaves were cheaper than I thought. Maybe because it was the end of the day. They were $7 instead of $9. But anyway, I wandered off and looked around at other stores hoping to find a smaller loaf for about $4.50 because that's all I had in my purse. But I didn't find anything. So I thought I'd just go back to the first store, even though I wasn't really sure why. It was kind of just like one of those things that I just found my feet walking there, but I didn't have a conscious decision, right, I'm going back there. I sort of surrendered to the fact that I wouldn't be getting the bread that day, but I just felt called to go back there anyway. And when I got there wasn't anybody else around. And just one of my favorite loaves was left. So I asked, for some reason, even though I thought I knew the answer, I thought, well, you never know. I just asked if they had a mobile card machine, and she said no. But instead of just thanking her and walked away, I felt compelled to kind of continue chatting to the girl that was serving. By way of conversation, I explained I didn't have enough cash and I'd been trying to drum some up, but to no avail. And she asked me how much I had and then offered me a smaller loaf for that amount. But it wasn't really the kind of loaf I wanted. It wasn't 100% rye, but it was nice. But, it wasn't really what I wanted. But at least I was going to go home with some bread that day. So, I thought, okay, why not? Now, I know for certain that I only had $4 and some small change, like a few cent pieces. Well, we don't have cents now, but like 5-cent pieces, because I had completely emptied my purse out earlier to count it. But it's a small purse, and there's nowhere for any of the extra coins to go. So that was definitely what I had in my purse. And I even remembered the coins that I had at the time, which was one $2, one $1, two 50 cents, and then there were a couple of 20s and some 5s. But then a little small miracle occurred. I got out my money, but I dropped a coin. And when I picked it up and counted it out, I had exactly $6.70. What? I seriously was in mild shock. Spurred on by this strange but very welcome discovery, I then asked if I could have the large rye loaf that I wanted instead, because I was only 30 cents short. And of course she said yes. So what a result. I got exactly what I wanted. Now to me, this was a little miracle. I say little because, of course, it was only a loaf of bread. But when you think of what the universe had to set up in order for me to get it, it's actually quite a big miracle for a small thing. When I dropped my coin, it disappeared under the table, so I couldn't actually see it. But when I reached underneath, I saw it was a $2 coin. Now, the only explanation that I can think of is that I dropped a 20 cent or a 5 cent piece and it rolled away. And someone else had dropped a $2 coin earlier, which I found, thinking, of course, that it was mine, the one that I just dropped. But even though there's a logical explanation for it, how absolutely perfect. Perfect that I was there when I was, that I dropped a coin and that someone else had dropped one earlier and I hadn't realized it. And here's the thing, I completely believe I manifested that by setting an intention and then just following my intuition, taking the easiest and most compelling action at each step. And if I can do it with a loaf of bread, I can pretty much do it with everything, which means that you can too. If the universe can conspire so precisely and so perfectly for me to get my loaf of bread, imagine what else it can conspire to bring into my reality and into yours. We always expect miracles to be big and flamboyant somehow, but usually they're small, everyday occurrences, and often we don't even notice them. But when you do, you begin to have faith that the universe is a friendly place, ready to support us on every level. And it's only when we try to control everything, work it out in our heads, that we come unstuck. Because how can the universe send us these miracles if we're so convinced that it's us that's in control? Even when it does, we don't see them. We don't see those miracles. We completely miss them. Now, if I'd looked at it logically, I would have said, I don't have enough money. I can't get the bread. Oh, I won't bother to drive all the way over there. Did I mention that the market was like 40 minutes drive from our home? And it was a Sunday. I mean, why would I do that? That's, an hour and what is that? Over an hour and a half driving there and back. But actually, I just followed what I can only be described as a niggle just to go anyway. I've since distilled the essence of what I did on that day, and I've realized that every time I've manifested something in my life, even when I wasn't sure of success, I've unwittingly done exactly the same things as I did that day. So these are my little kind of steps, if you like. So I'll just go through them. First and foremost, don't overthink it. Just go with the flow, but stay connected to yourself. In other words, listen to your inner messages, your intuition. Don't be clear on what you want, but don't get overly attached to the outcome. Your life doesn't depend on it. Life is just great as it is, but it would be nice to have another pair of shoes, a new holiday, a new car, or, a loaf of bread. When faced with a choice, to do this or to do that, actually just do what feels like the right thing to do at that time. And when I say right, I don't mean like what's the good thing, what does everybody say is the good thing to do. What I mean is what feels right to you at that moment, what calls to you. Even if it doesn't seem logical, literally ask yourself, what should I do now? And if nothing comes up, do nothing and wait till something does. I know this sounds like you're doing, just sitting there waiting for your life to pass by, but actually that never happens. It never happens because you are in action by, deciding that you want a particular thing, but you're just not sure how to get that. And so rather than forcing the action, the best way is to just sit tight and just go, something will occur to me sooner or later, and then I'll get into action. And it always does, as I said. And don't make it difficult. It's always the easiest way, the path of least resistance that will manifest what you want the fastest. We always think that things have to be hard or difficult in order to bring the result we want, and it's just not true. Turn over stones, be aware of opportunities that may lead you to what you want, but again, don't be attached to whether they bear fruit or not. The way will come, and it may not look the way you think it would. So that's me, stopping all the way, trying to get money out of the bank, trying to get money from the service station. I was aware of the opportunities, and I turned over the stones, but it didn't really lead to what I want. But I still, I wasn't attached to the thing, oh, well, I didn't get the money, so I'm not going to bother to go. I still went anyway, because the money actually came from a completely unexpected source. Don't give up on what you want, even if nothing seems to be going your way or nothing at all appears to be happening. So that's not like forcing the issue, though. That's just going, I still want it and I'm not giving up on it, but, maybe it's just going to come a different way, or maybe I'm just going to have to wait a day for it or get it next week instead, sort of thing. And always ask for what you want. Be grateful for whatever you have and whatever you receive, but also keep your eye on what you truly want. It is always good to ask for exactly what you want, which is what I did when she was willingly giving me the smaller one, which I now had the money for. But I kind of pushed the envelope slightly by saying, well, can I have the one I really want, even though I'm still a bit short of money? Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I got it and it was perfect. And again, people can say, well, that's because it entered the market and it was the last one left and she was going to pack up. But the point is, I was there at that time for a reason and it all worked out perfectly. So next time you're wondering how to manifest something, whether it's a new job, a sum of money, or even a loaf of beautiful fresh bread, try these tips out and see how they work for you. And then let me know. I'd love to hear. So I hope you got something out of that. My loaf of bread story. I love it. And I love retelling it because honestly, I revisit this because even though I'm telling the story, I forget it. And then I, want certain things to happen and then I have to kind of think, oh, what should I do? And I come back and I actually teach myself all over again. Oh, yes, that's right. This is the way. And it always works. It always does. So, yes, I'd love to hear your experiences. All right. Thanks so much for listening. Have a wonderful day.